Hello, fourth grade. Welcome back to another episode of Bath Math. We are halfway through this unit and you are doing an amazing job. For today or this week's information, it is crucial that you just get a refresher on place value as well as decimals. Because we will be turning our fractions that we've been comparing and adding and subtracting and getting to know, we're going to be changing them into decimals. And to do so, you really have to have a good basic understanding of place value and just know how decimals work and what they're named. Within this video, I did put a refresher. There's a clip that I took from like episode 3 at the beginning of the year and put it in just as like a reminder of how place value works. But if you need more, there you can always go down to the different units that we've already covered in Blend. So all of the information is there. Please use your resources and let me know if you have any questions. But let's get started changing fractions to decimals. These are the essential questions and sentence stems for the week. Pause the video to read over them, but they are also available on your Math Blend page. Here is the vocabulary for the week. Feel free to pause the video to read over the words and see if there are any you may not know. Looking at this in parts, this first part is the same as up here, ones, tens, hundreds. This right here is still the same, ones, tens, hundreds, and it can keep going. You can still make this number way bigger. I'm just focusing on the place values nearest the decimal right now. So ones, tens, hundreds. Now what's different is that now we've included a decimal and now there's spaces on the other side. So looking at this whole number, it's as if I put a decimal here and added more spaces, okay? This side of the decimal can also continue the same, but it does not start with ones. There is no ones place on the other side of the decimal. Make note of that. A second thing that's different is that on this side, it's called tens, T-E-N-S, hundreds, right? On this side, they're adding a T-H, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, okay? Those are the two simple things I want you to notice, is that all we did was add a decimal, they took away the ones place, and they've added TH to every single name on that side of the decimal. So when I look at my paper and I see a decimal, anything to the right of it is gonna have a TH to it, okay? So just taking a look at what you already learned and know, all we did was add a decimal, okay, next to the ones, and we're making now new place value spaces to the right of it. Okay, so we have been talking about fractions. I'm going to start there from 0 to 1. Last week we talked about 0 benchmarks, half benchmarks, 1 benchmarks, right? And you were able to identify where the fraction was closest to. What I'm going to show you is just, we're going to label these because they're divided up into 10 parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to be talking about tenths, okay? So for fractions, it would be 1/10, 2 tenths, 3 tenths, 4 tenths, 5 tenths. That would be the equivalent to 1/2, right? That's what we've been learning. But continuing, 6 tenths, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, 9 tenths, and then 1 is equal to 10 tenths. We're good so far, yes? Okay. Now relating this to decimal, you see how I said tenths? This number here, because the fraction is in tenths, it relates to decimals. We can have our ones, tens, hundreds, our big numbers like I showed you in the previous clip. But when we're talking about decimal, It is decimals are going on the right hand side of the decimal, tenths, hundreds, thousandths, continuing. It's going to be smaller than one whole, right? If I have 10 cents of a dollar, let's say this was money, $1 is on this side of the decimal. I have 0 tenths, 0 hundredths, right? We understand that. Okay. But let's say I have 1/10. How much money is that? That's 10 cents, right? Same thing if this number line was $1. I have 10 cents. I have a dime. I have 2 dimes, 3 dimes, 4 dimes, 5 dimes, which means it's the same as 50 cents, right? 6 dimes, 7 dimes, 8 dimes, continue. 10 dimes would equal to $1, right? It's very different if I have 1/100ths. That breaks it down even further. That would actually be between here. I would have 1/100ths here because you need 100 pennies to make $1. So if 10 cents or a dime is 10 pennies, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So hundredths would be this little tiny dot here versus tenths would be here. You can break it down in different ways. So if I still have $1, I could still break this up into hundredths if I wanted to. Then this would 1/10 would equal 10 hundredths. Why? Because I need 1 out of 10 dimes, or I need 10 out of 100 pennies to make the same here. So if I wanted to equal the same, it would be 20 pennies out of 100 for $1. 30 pennies out of 100 for $1. Even if you find the same common denominator or butterfly method or just comparing or finding the equivalent fraction, these would all equal the same. Okay, still on fractions, right? Now, considering what I'm showing you down here and how to think about it differently, what would that mean for decimals? What would that look like? So 1/10, take this just one fraction alone, 1/10, would be the same because it lands on tenths, would be 0.1. 1/10, okay? Now, why? You could think about it again in money. Could be as if you had 10 cents, having the 0 there not is the same thing, okay? And it is in the tenths place next to the decimal. So it is 1/10. This would be 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. As you can see, if I were to make that into money, it would look like 50 cents. So yes, continuing, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then I would have 1 whole. So 1 whole dollar, 1.0, right? 0 tenths. So these are equaling each other. That all means the same, okay? So that would be in tenths. If I wanted to do hundredths, that would look a little different because I would need to show you, so each hundredth, so this little tiny dot at the beginning would actually be 0.01, right? If I were to write that in money, I only have 1 penny, right? So that decimal is the same as 1 out of 100, okay? Because that's in the hundredths spot, and underneath it's 1, on the denominator, is 100 total pennies for $1, and I only have 1 penny out of 100 that I need. So I kind of went all over the place there, but hopefully it makes sense, or you're clicking in your brain that nearest the decimal on the right-hand side is going to be tenths, and 2 spaces over will be hundredths. So they just look a little different. But yeah, let me know if you have any questions. And let me show you another example real quick, okay? Okay, apologies if I got you a little confused. Let me try a different way to show you. If you got the last clip, awesome. If you didn't, that's okay. Breaking it down from 0 to 1 again, I'm going to show you kind of how you can think about it in both decimals and fractions. I've listed out some decimals as well, and we're going to find the equivalent fraction and where it would be placed on the number line. So 0 to 1, $1, right? If you think about all of these in money, I have how many cents here? Do I have 8 cents or do I have 80 cents? 80, good. Do I have, how many cents do I have here? I have $0, right? And 32 cents. Okay, this falls on the tenths place, so I have 8 dimes. This ends on the hundred place, so I have 32 pennies. Okay, how much money is this? Is this 6 cents or 60 cents? It's in the tenths place, so the answer would be 60 cents. Good. Do I have, how much money do I have here? $0.17, right? I have 1 dime and 7 pennies, so that would be 17 cents total, right? Again, if you just notice where they land on the place value, like we've talked about, decimal, tenths, hundreds, wherever the number lands, that's where your fraction is going to be. So this falls in the tenths place, so it equals to 8 tenths, okay? This falls in the hundreds place, meaning it ends in the hundreds place, so this would be 32 hundredths, okay? This falls on the tenths place, this would be 6 tenths. This falls on the hundredths place, you're just putting that number, 17, over 100 pennies, right? I need 100 pennies to make $1. Now, finding the equivalent or where this would be on the number line is the same thing. So I can use my fractions or I can use my decimals. The way that this number line is broken up, I have 0, half, and 1, right? So I can kind of make my own marks here. If that's to 5, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're not super even, but you kind of get the gist. So if I want to make my fractions, I could say that this is 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10, right? Just like we did on the previous clip. Same thing with decimal. This would be 0.1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and 1.0. Okay, now looking at where these fall, 0.8. So this would be here, right? That equals the same. I found 1. 0.6 equals 6/10. Found that one. 0.32. So that would mean that it's not necessarily 0.3, it's a little over, right? And if we split these up into 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it would fall somewhere just a little bigger than 0.3. It's a little bit bigger than that, right? So it kind of breaks it up. And so here I have 0.32, same thing as 32 hundredths. Because we broke it down just a little bit further, now we're talking about pennies and cents, right? Same thing with this one. It would be a little bit more than 0.1. If I broke this up into 10 spots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So somewhere around here, this would be 0.17 or 17 hundredths. So that's all we're really doing with our decimals. You know how decimals work. You also know how fractions work and how to break them up. Now you're finding what is equivalent or how to transfer one to the other and where it would fall based on the place value. Okay, it's super important that you know that the first number next to the decimal is the tenths, TH, and the second number is the hundredths. So wherever that decimal lands, that kind of gives you an indicator of how many to break it up on the number line or what number goes in the denominator. Okay, let me show you another one. So I have now, instead of doing 0 to 1, we're doing 0 to 4. What we last saw was just this part, right? Now I'm adding a couple more. So these are whole numbers, okay? So $4, so to say. Now I've given you a couple of fractions and decimals, and I kind of want you to think about, let's convert these into the opposite. So if I have a fraction, I'm going to turn it into a decimal. If I have a decimal, I'm going to turn it into a fraction. And then we'll find them on the number line based on where they are. So what I see here is a mixed fraction, right? I have a whole number and a proper fraction, so it's mixed. This would be as if I had, you could think about it in money, if that works for you. I have one whole dollar. Do I have more than one? No. So 1, stops there. I don't have any more whole numbers, so I'm going to put a decimal. The fraction is what's to the right of the decimal, the tenths and the hundreds. This says tenths, 3/10. So it's telling me exactly what to put, 3 in the tenths place, 1.3. Okay, I can find this on the number line. I have 1. If I were to split this up into tens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10, I would have 1.3. So 1.1, 0.2, 0.3. So it would land here. This would equal 1.3 or 1 3/10. Okay, let's try another one. 0.46. Do I have any whole numbers? Do I have any whole dollars? No. So this is going to be automatically a fraction. Does it end in the tenths place? No, it keeps going. It ends in the hundredths place. 46 hundredths. That's 46 out of 100 pennies, right? So I don't even have 50 cents. So it would be between 0 and 1 because there were no whole numbers, okay? If I wanted to split this up into 10 to make it easier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's not exact, but you get it. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 6, 4, 6. So another, it says if I were to split that up like we did on the last clip 10 times, it would be somewhere around here. So it doesn't even reach half of that, right? So this point here is equal to 0.46 or 46 hundredths, because it broke it down even smaller than the actual 10 spaces. We broke this up into dimes. They broke this up into pennies, okay? So these equal each other. Let's try this one. How many whole dollars do I have, or a whole number? It's in the ones place, right? So this is a whole number. That would be 2, right? The whole numbers to the side. Then we're going to have a mixed fraction because we have the 89 cents or 89 hundredths to the side. Do you see what I said though? 89 hundredths. So immediately I can write that down. I have $2.89 out of 100. So I have 2 here. I'm going to break this down into 10 spots as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it's not talking dimes, it's talking pennies. So even then I have to break it down more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So somewhere here, and then break that up into 10 little spots, and it's going to fall somewhere around here, right? We're estimating. So this would equal 2.89 or 2.89 hundredths or 2.89 hundredths. Okay, we're finding the equivalent and we're also putting it on the number line. Let's do this last one. How many whole numbers do I have, or a whole digit? So this is 3. Right? So on my decimal, I have $3. And then it says 6/10. 6/10. That place value is the tenths place value. So it would fall somewhere here. And if I split this up, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 3.6 is the same as 3 6/10. Okay, all of these equal each other. So I just kind of want you to see how they work back and forth, and how knowing the place value and where it stops is super helpful, because the answer is in just saying it right? If you say it correctly, you're giving yourself the answer and you're giving yourself the way to write it down. So it's super helpful. And then thinking about it in terms of money, I could split this up into 400 pennies, right? If I wanted to break it up super small and then each be like 100 here, 200 here, 300, 400. Or I could say by dimes, right? 10 dimes, yeah, 20 dimes, 30 dimes, 40 dimes is the same as if I had $4, right? $1, $2, $3, $4. So just different ways to think about the same amount of money or the same amount of within these numbers, and then how you could break it up even smaller. So hopefully this makes sense. If not, please go back to Unit 1. It's at the bottom of your Blend page. You can always click on Unit 1, and all of the videos, all of the assignments, kind of just a refresher if you need that, could be super helpful, as well as anything that had to do with decimals. So again, if you go back into Unit 1, you can look up place value, you can look up decimals, and there's another video there as well that did decimals into fractions, so reverse. We're just kind of bringing it back. So hopefully this makes sense. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions in our Zoom calls. Okay. Thank y'all for watching another episode of Bath Math. Hope you have a great week. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see y'all during Zoom. Bye-bye.